The origins of cricket, one of the world's most beloved sports, can be traced back to the early days of England, though the exact time and place of its invention remain steeped in mystery. Like many great inventions, cricket evolved over centuries, shaped by the hands of numerous cultures, but it was the English who gave it a distinct form that would eventually spread across the globe, becoming the sport we know today. Cricket's roots date back to the 16th century, though some believe the game may have existed in a rudimentary form much earlier. Early references to a bat and ball game can be found in ancient England, particularly in the southeastern counties. The game is thought to have been played by shepherds in the rural areas, using a simple wooden stick to hit a ball, with some form of makeshift target or wicket. These primitive games were likely very different from the cricket we know today, but they laid the foundation for the development of the sport. The first recorded mention of the game comes from 1598 when it was referred to as "crecket" in a legal document in Surrey, England. The term cricket itself is thought to derive from the Old French word criquet, meaning a kind of club or stick, which was likely used to hit the ball in the early versions of the game. This marks the beginning of a new era for cricket, as it slowly transitioned from a rural pastime to a more organized and formal sport. As the 17th century progressed, the game began to gain popularity, particularly among the gentry. By the late 1600s, cricket had evolved into a more structured game, with teams of players and formalized rules. The game began to be played on larger fields, and the first definitive laws of cricket were introduced in 1744, which laid down rules such as the dimensions of the pitch, the number of players, and the types of equipment used. It was around this time that cricket started to resemble the sport we recognize today, with two teams of 11 players, a bat, ball, and wickets. The 18th century saw cricket emerge as a national sport in England, particularly with the formation of county clubs and the establishment of the famous Marylebone Cricket Club, MCC, in 1787. The MCC played a crucial role in formalizing the game's rules and promoting the sport to the wider public. The club's influence on cricket's global spread cannot be overstated, as it was responsible for shaping the game and establishing many of the rules still used today. As the British Empire expanded during the 19th century, cricket began to spread to other parts of the world. It was introduced to India, Australia, South Africa, and the West Indies, where it was embraced and adapted to local cultures. By the mid-19th century, international cricket matches began to be played, and the first ever test match between England and Australia was held in 1877, marking the beginning of international competition in the sport. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, cricket continued to grow in popularity, with new formats such as one-day internationals (ODIs) emerging in the 1960s, followed by the creation of T20 cricket in the early 21st century. These innovations made the game more accessible to a wider audience, and cricket became a global phenomenon, particularly in countries like India, Pakistan, and Australia. Today, cricket is not just a sport but a global passion, enjoyed by millions across the world. It has evolved into a multi-format game, with test matches lasting up to 5 days, one-day internationals offering fast-paced action, and T20 matches providing exciting, shorter versions of the game. Cricket's invention may have started as a simple game in rural England, but over centuries, it has grown into one of the most popular and culturally significant sports worldwide, bringing together players and fans from every corner of the globe. The story of cricket's invention is not just about a game but about the evolution of a culture, the coming together of communities, and the universal love for competition and sport. From humble beginnings to its status as a global phenomenon, cricket's journey is one of tradition, passion, and transformation, making it one of the most enduring and beloved games in the world. If you want to learn more about history's pivotal moments, subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content on the events that shaped the world we live in today.